What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video, and I have figured out a way to save the New York Jets season by making an additional trade to bring in a quarterback, and it's a realistic option, I think anyway. As much fun as adding Kirk Cousins would be, I don't think that is necessarily a realistic option, but there is a trade option for the New York Jets out there that I do think is realistic for the New York Jets to pull off. The guy that I do think will be available via trade to be had by the New York Jets is Ryan Tannehill. Now, is Ryan Tannehill a name that's going to make you go absolutely bonkers and go, oh my God, Super Bowl back on? No, that is obviously not the case, but it's a significant upgrade over what they have and could also have the possibility of leading them to a playoff spot. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, here's the things that have to go into this thought. Is Ryan Tannehill better than Zach Wilson? Yes. Okay, that's one. Is Ryan Tannehill better than Trevor Siemian? Yes. Okay, that's two. Is there a path to him being available via trade before the trade deadline? Yes, that's three. There are three things that go into it, and it's, again, it just makes too much sense. And the Jets were very high on Ryan Tannehill, supposedly higher than some other teams on a guy like Ryan Tannehill when they were through their quarterback search process. Obviously, they land Aaron Rodgers, but Tannehill was probably like a top 5 option on most people's list. And again, is he on the same level of an Aaron Rodgers? No, of course not. But can he get them to a playoff spot theoretically if they stay afloat? He may be able to do just that. And when you look at what the Tennessee Titans have done to start their season, they could easily be 1-5 by their bye week. Let's go through it. So the Titans are 1-2 currently, and they have Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Baltimore for their next 3 games before they go into their bye week. They have Malik Willis and Will Levis, 2 quarterbacks that they've drafted in the last 2 draft classes that they could turn to. And if you start 1-5, your season's pretty much over. There's no point in playing Ryan Tannehill, a veteran who is not going to be here in 2024 for you, when you can see what you have in either of those 2 young quarterbacks. I know Malik didn't look great last year, but see if he improved. Or if you want to see Will Levis, who you spent a second-round pick on, that would be another area that you could potentially, again, look to and see what you have there. Is he someone who could be an answer for the future? And if not, and you go and you lose out, guess what? You're going to have a top pick, and there's supposedly a good quarterback class. So you go out and you make a move like that. But again, if they start 1-5 and they have the same bye week as the New York Jets in week 7, this is lining up to be perfect. You start Zach Wilson because I don't think you're possibly going to have a scenario in which Trevor Siemian is going to be ready to go for Sunday. I don't think that goes well. Very, very unlikely chance that goes well on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. You start Trevor Siemian against the Denver Broncos, and Trevor Siemian revenge game, I'm here for it. Is he great? No, he's not great, but he is an upgrade over what you have. And the Broncos defense is absolutely abysmal. They gave up 70 points to Miami, and I know Miami's an elite level offense, but their defense showed massive signs of struggles early on in the season against other teams. Washington with Sam Howell put up a bucket load of points. They lost to the Raiders in week 1 of the season. There are some major issues on the defensive side of the football right now for that Denver Broncos team. So if he could at least get you to 20 points, that should be enough to win the game, because you know the Jets defense is going to show up. So after that, obviously, you have Philadelphia before you go into the bye, and that's a really tough ask. But if you go in at 2-4, your season's really not dead. And we'll look at it in a little bit what their season, what their schedule looks like after that. But for Ryan Tannehill, again, this is someone that the Jets really liked in the offseason. He was awful against the Saints in week 1. There's no sugarcoating it, but he was great against the Chargers. Bounced back very nicely in a big-time win for Tennessee in that one. He was 20 of 24, 83.3 completion percentage, 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and a 123.3 rating. This is a guy who is always a high completion percentage guy, is the prototypical game manager who gives you some upside with his legs too, by the way. He started 12 games for the Tennessee Titans in 2022, and he had a 65.2 completion percentage, 2,536 yards, which is 211.3 yards per game, 13 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. If you were to pace out those numbers over a full 17-game season, that's obviously a 65.2 completion percentage, 3,592 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a 94.6 rating. Is that amazing? No, it's not amazing. Is that winning you a Super Bowl? Probably not winning you a Super Bowl. Is it bringing you back into contention to push to be a wild card team down the stretch? Absolutely. He's done it before. He's played really well on these Tennessee teams that have gone into the playoffs. He was the quarterback of a team that was a 1 seed and not that long ago. And again, I'm not going to be naive and try to push this narrative on you that the Super Bowl expectations would be back on. But this, in my opinion, the Jets just can't completely, tank the rest of the way. This coaching staff and this GM need to get some wins. And this core group of guys, they can't just grow this accepted culture of losing. Losing's not acceptable anymore. Aaron Rodgers is coming back next season, and you're going to have those same kind of expectations that you had going into this season. And it's unfortunate what happened, but if you could, again, finish strong and maybe push for a playoff spot, I think that will do a lot for this core and going the right direction. I mean, look at the second half schedule for the New York Jets. Out of the bye, the Giants, Chargers, Raiders, Bills, Dolphins, Falcons, Texans, Dolphins again, Commanders, Browns, and Patriots. The Bills and the Dolphins games are tough. Obviously, those games are going to be really, really challenging, but there are some winnable games on that schedule. Can you somehow, some way, find a way to go 7-4 after starting 2-4 and you're 9-8 to close the season and maybe squeak your way into a playoff spot as a 7 seed? That's absolutely on the table. I think it is significantly more important for this Jets team, again, from top to bottom, the general manager, the front office, the coaching staff, for everyone, to actually push and try and go for it. I don't care about tanking for a quarterback. And I get it. It's supposed to be a great quarterback class. And you say, oh, well, if you just lose out with Zach Wilson, you can draft Caleb Williams or Drake May or insert whatever your favorite quarterback option is in the first round to the New York Jets. I don't think that's the right way to go about this. I really don't. Aaron Rodgers is coming back in 2024. You're going to have the high expectations once again going into the season. They need to start stacking wins and playing in meaningful games down the stretch. Otherwise, you're pretty much just wasting a season with this young group of guys. And I don't think that's fair to them. And with the current quarterback play with Zach Wilson, you can't evaluate the rest of the roster. At least with a Ryan Tannehill, you can evaluate the rest of your team. The defense isn't going to be on the field all the time. The run game will be better because you have a quarterback who has a shot of throwing the football against you. You could see how good Garrett Wilson is. A.J. Brown put up numbers with Ryan Tannehill in the past. You could utilize your tight ends and just have a functioning offense. You could evaluate how good Nathaniel Hackett is because of all the flaws that Nathaniel Hackett has, which the criticism from the fans is absolutely warranted. He hasn't been good through the first 3 games, but there's only so much that you could actually evaluate from Nathaniel Hackett in this team because of the absolute garbage that they've gotten at the quarterback position. The garbage quarterback play that they've received is impossible to do any sort of evaluation on this guy. So, yeah, I would use a day 3 pick. It's not going to be that costly to trade for Ryan Tannehill. He's on an expiring contract, and he's not going to be on the team next year. What would it cost to get Ryan Tannehill from the 1-5 Tennessee Titans? A 4th round pick, 5th round pick? You do that every single day for a chance to be competitive down the stretch? I absolutely do that. This is not a time for the Jets to be hoarding draft capital. It's not a time for the Jets to be tanking to get better draft capital. They need to start adding wins for both this quarterback, for both this general manager, this coaching staff, and to get a legitimate quarterback, there we go, in here, so you have half a chance of evaluating what this offense could actually do. That's my thoughts on saving this Jets season with the quarterback trade. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.